Welcome back to the Braun Atelier 3. And before I go any further, I've got to say that I have some good news and I have some bad news. Start with the good news first. The last time I had powered this up with the light dimmer on restricted power, I got reception on all the AM channels, so shortwave, medium wave and long wave. I got noise on FM but no reception. And as some viewers pointed out, I did something rather stupid, assuming that there was something wrong with the FM section. There isn't. The powering up that I did, which I'm going to repeat now, was only limited. So let me show you. I've got this off. I've got the lamp on one light activating, and I'm going to switch it on, and I'm going to put it on medium wave. So the lamp comes on. The dial lights are very dim. You can probably not see it there, but they're there. No shorts, so I'm going to put on the second one. The dial lights come on a bit more, and I should get some sound. And I do. It's only a hiss for now because I have no antenna connected. However, something I didn't demonstrate last time is if you activate the internal ferrite antenna on shortwave, you're likely to actually pick something up. So we've got something very noisy, but we've got something. The lights, the two lights are just glowing, not much. The voltage is at about 180 volts. And under these conditions, if I take the internal antenna off, I lose reception. Still have the hiss, but no reception. So the internal antenna works for the AM bands, at least the long wave and medium wave, if you don't have an antenna connected, an external antenna connected. Now, if I put this on FM, I get the rainfall sound again. And I have the light dimmer reducing the voltage in to about 180 volts. I think the last time I went as far as pushing the third lamp. There we go. So the voltage is at about 200 volts and still no FM. However, I'm now in a position to put the full power on because I've done some more checks and there's nothing obviously wrong with this. And look what happens. I'm going to bypass the light dimmer. And there we go. So I have FM, and obviously I've done absolutely nothing to the FM circuitry except raise the power, the voltage, to a level that the FM circuitry, FM tube requires. Now this had happened to me before in a previous set, and I finally discovered it almost by mistake because I bypassed the light dimmer unintentionally, risking blowing the whole thing up, but at least the FM came back on immediately. And I realized that I'd been kind of dumb. So there we go. The reception on FM is actually very good. It's just got a little short antenna out there. So there we go. Something else I'm going to demonstrate to you while we set up the way we are, and it's on FM. There's a button here called automatic, which I will show you in the schematic soon enough. What this does, it's actually an auto tuning system. So if I push automatic, it fine tunes the reception and latches on to the station that you're on. So let me demonstrate.
Muito bem
There's the strong signal. I'm going to just move slightly and it's gone. If I push automatic, I can do that. It catches it a lot better. See? So the idea is that once you're in a strong station, you push automatic and it latches on. So I figured out how the automatic works. It's for automatic fine-tuning on, not fine-tuning, it's actually automatic tuning on FM. And the service manual actually describes it. It would help if I read the whole thing first, but what it says, it's automatic fine-tuning, effective on FM. There's a locking range of plus minus 160 kilohertz at a 5 microvolt input and plus minus 220 kilohertz at 30 microvolt input. And then there's a holding range of 180 and 420 kilohertz on the same inputs for the respective inputs. So it's automatic fine-tuning and it works brilliantly. So the bad news is that there's not much to repair on this. And so this major project of mine has suddenly taken a turn. I mean, this sounds really weird coming from someone who wants to get this radio working perfectly. But it would have been a bit more challenging if something dramatically wrong appeared. Not that I'm hoping it will. However, there is still a lot to be done here. It is a pretty substantial restoration on the remainder of the unit, so the turntable and so on. But even on this radio, as it is, the sound is not what I want it to be. It is very bassy. Now, strangely enough, usually you get the opposite. You get a lot of highs and very few lows. We always have a problem with not enough bass coming through. In this case, I find that the bass is pretty predominant here, and I have to turn the treble almost all the way up if I want to get the music sounding the way I'd like it. So there's obviously something that needs to be adjusted, and we need to go through this carefully, through all the capacitors especially, one step at a time, and see what we can do to make it more neutral. Another thing is, I went through the service manual and also experimented on the system to see how this the stereo system works. Now, on the schematic, which we're going to look at in depth in a minute, it's pretty complicated to figure out until you've figured it out, as usual. So I'm going to go through it and show you what it is that I've discovered, and how this thing now makes a lot of sense to me. What they say this does, they say it plays phono on stereo, it plays radio on mono. However, if you have it on radio, so you have it on any of these three, FM, shortwave or medium wave, and you push the stereo button, what it does is it keeps the radio coming through one channel, say the left channel, and the right channel is then passing the phono input to the other side, to the other channel, to the speaker. And that then is controllable by this volume pot over here. You have the usual balance control here as well. So I did a bit of experimentation and found that that's exactly how this works, and I will show you. Okay, I'm ready to demonstrate this. What I've done is I've brought in a 400 Hertz signal into the phono input, the back here, and I have FM working at the moment, and it's coming out of both speakers. Now, when I push stereo, listen to what happens. I'll detune it so we can hear it better. I take that off. It's just the radio. Hit stereo, and I'm getting radio and the tone coming through. Radio on one speaker, tone on the other. And the tone, let me detune this again so we can hear it. The tone's volume is now controllable here, whereas the radio volume is controllable there. So this suddenly becomes active, and I have FM selected and stereo with FM coming through in one channel and the tone, which is the phono signal, coming through the other channel. Pretty neat. As I said before, I don't really know what you'd use that for, but anyway, that's the way it works, and it actually does make sense when we look at the schematic in a minute. The other thing that this does is when it's operated like this, so when I have it on one of the radio buttons, one of the radio signals, plus the stereo, I'm feeding the phono through, and it automatically monos the phono. So it actually makes the phono signal one signal, no left and right anymore, so that when you get the phono signal through to the one speaker, you're actually getting a summed version of the stereo signals, so a mono signal. And that makes sense because it wouldn't really sound too good if you didn't have that combination. You'd only be getting one channel out of the speaker. So they have really thought of everything. The other thing is when you put it on phono, put that on again. When you put it on phono, and at the moment I've got phono only going into one speaker, one side rather, this no longer works. The volume is controlled here, and the balance control actually works very slightly. So it does operate to a degree. When you have both signals coming in, it operates in the same way. But so what we've got really seeing there is a small effect on a mono signal. If we push in the stereo, we get a bigger effect here. So what it really does is it separates the channels completely on the phono and makes it a more realistic, this still doesn't operate, a more realistic balance control. Not completely dead, but reduced. Okay, so there is another button here which is Sprache or something like that, which means speech. And we'll see in the schematic as well. What this does is it affects the tone control of both channels to give it more highs and less bass. So you'd have a better setting for speech reception on shortwave or middle wave or even long wave. The off button, we know what that does. So if we go through here, we'll see the off button, speech button, the automatic tune, stereo, phono, then long wave. This is the internal ferrite antenna activator, middle wave, long wave, short wave, and then FM. So we have FM again. Okay, this took quite a while to figure out how it works on the schematics, so I'm going to show you.